One thing I think is incredibly funny is that in business advice, you hear everyone talk about focus and alignment, yet in our personal lives, we can be an absolute mess. Whatever an organization has trouble with, you can usually boil it down to something we individually have problems with. We all promise we're going to go to the gym and don't. We don't build a foundation of savings. And so it's so funny when people go back and, beat up on their company for being not the best place in the world, but it kind of starts with us in some ways. And we're all pretty fragile when it comes to taking our own advice. I was sort of a professional canary in the coal mine. So I have a track record of starting a number of jobs and very quickly, like within 2 to 4 weeks, sort of understanding some deep dark elephant of the company and then getting really hung up on that. So the mistake that I made was, often not thinking about change agency in a way that was healthy for myself, really taking it as a personal mission to change the particular company versus something like, I'll give this a year, I'll try some safe to fail experiments, I'll float some things in there, and if, the job doesn't work out, I'll just go on to the next one. And then also one thing I learned was sometimes I was just bored. We want to intellectualize our reactions to an environment when really just maybe in the wrong environment. I would like to master the skill of public speaking. I struggle with all my conference talks and I'm a bundle of nerves when I'm doing them. And then when I get up there, I'm really excited. I actually love being up there and telling stories, but I feel like there's always room for improvement.
Okay, what would you sing at karaoke night?
Well, I do like when everyone can join in, so I do think something like a Bohemian Rhapsody or something like that's really good. I mean, it's a no-brainer, but there's really something for everyone. There is a product corollary to karaoke in the sense that, people get these like a shiny object karaoke song is one that you think but you just know the hook, and you never knew how hard the verse was. Example, True Colors, right? True Colors is an amazing song. Like, it's got a really amazing hook, but the whole verse of True Colors is really hard to sing. It makes me crazy, and I think that's a hard thing to hear. So I think that there's a lesson in there too that, under promise, over deliver is a good strategy in karaoke, because the songs that you think are interesting actually turn out to be a lot harder. You just know the hook, right? And so I think that that's a good lesson. I think the more you can get used to getting that feedback where people are just able to tell you everything from their perspective and not just, I think that's, if you can arrange that, that's a good place to be. Daring at work. This can sound weird, but probably the most daring things I've done is when I've just sort of shut up and observed. Like, some of you have your comfort zone. So for me, like poking the box is actually my comfort zone. I'd even say recently, I'm just kind of stepping back, got a kid, and observing and letting things sort of play their course instead of having to just jump right in. That's actually harder for me than just sort of, poking the box. The best piece of advice is that every strength becomes a weakness and weakness becomes a strength. And the worst piece of advice is I'm probably around, productivity hacking or stuff where, you're trying to eke out every single moment of the day, which I've fallen into the trap of sometimes without thinking of whether you're doing the right thing. So I would class all that advice under, it's okay to not get stuff done. Yeah, I think there's hopefully some career lessons in there for people. Learn from my mistakes.